Okay, so let's start to understand this process now by breaking down each step that the customer takes from the time that they come to your website through to the time that they're about to contact you. So now the same way that when you're driving down the road and you see a bunch of signs on the horizon to choose from, well, likewise the equivalent for your user online is when they've been Googling and they see all the search results pop up on the first page. Now, like I mentioned in the top 10 SEO tricks and loopholes video, there's a specific formula that we can apply to create meta titles and descriptions that are going to stand out of the page more and attract more eyes and clicks to your search result. So comparing that to the fast food restaurant analogy, this is like the equivalent of getting your sign by the side of the road to stand out that extra bit taller and brighter to passing motorists, so that in that split-second moment of decision, they're going to be more attracted towards you than the competitors. Now, of course, in that split-second moment of decision, people are not really going to read every word of your meta title, and they're certainly not going to read every word of the meta description. But if we structure it right by the strategic use of the right emotive words of relevance, what we can do is create an almost subliminal effect that actually sort of unconsciously draws more eyes towards your result, and as a result gets more clicks on it too. So basically you're driving more traffic towards your page by comparison with the other results on the same page. So a lot of people overlook this, but remember, the first impression that the customer has of you is your Google result, your meta title and description. Now remember that first impressions count because they carry over. So in that split-second moment, those micro emotions that compel the user to click on your result over the others, those feelings, even if unconsciously, will now carry over to affect the way that the user experiences your landing page. And for those of you new at this, when I say landing page, what I literally mean is the page that the user lands on after clicking on your Google search result. Now this forms a second impression of you. Now, as important as first impressions are, if you go meet someone for the first time, make a great first impression, but then a moment later you start acting like a moron, unfortunately the first impression not going to be enough to save you. So it's important to continue to maintain that same high level of expectation throughout the rest of the experience as well. So psychologically, this is actually one of the most important and powerful aspects of web design that many people overlook simply because they don't really know what they're doing. So lesson number 2 is always remember that the very first impression that the customer has of you is that Google search result, the meta title and description that compels them to click on your result over your competitors. Now, first impressions count because that micro emotion that they have in that split second, even though consciously they forget it, unconsciously that same feeling will now be attached to the rest of the experience they have on your site, which will influence the way they perceive it.
Try Googling the same keywords that your potential customers would be searching for, and have a look through the results that come up. Notice the meta titles and descriptions that your competitors are using. Which ones stand out the most, and how do they make you feel when you browse over them? What can you put in your meta titles and descriptions that stand out more and draw people to feel more compelled to click on your search results? Most importantly, what words of influence can you use here to create micro-emotions to make a powerful first impression for new visitors to your site? In the next lesson, Stuart reveals the most powerful page of influence of any service-based business's website, and it may not be what you think. Stay tuned for lesson 3 to find out what it is.